Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin the Food Entrepreneur Show. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. For anyone who's out there, you can find us on Instagram at Justin Bizzarro, Bizzarro, or at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs. You can find us there. We will be starting to populate that Instagram again. By the time this episode comes out, there should be stuff on Justin the Food Entrepreneurs again. In the meantime, we also have Gorilla Brave going. That's, again, just to remind everyone, years of experience, cross-reference with all the information that the guests give us on the podcast, plus academically supported information. That's what we're doing with Gorilla Brave for the food and beverage entrepreneurs. I heard you guys. I heard all the requests. I heard the network, the fellowship. It just took me a while to wrap my head around how to do it on the global scale we're talking about and still be able to grow people without, on a greater level, without having to meet with every individual individually. The podcast sort of does that for me. So I don't know if that makes sense, but we're trying to give the information on tidbits, daily doses. Everyone has it for the restaurant, food truck, commissary, co-packing, whatever you're in, CPG, logistics, your food safety person, whatever it is. I'm trying to get all the information out there to you guys in little daily doses, about 3 to 4 posts a day through Gorilla Brave. That turns into community networking and events as we move forward. We've already tested some of that. We've tested a summit and we've tested a few network events, and we know that the events will work. The networking events, 4 to 5 hours long in a city, just a group of entrepreneurs getting together. One speaker does about an hour speaking. The summits are more in depth, 40 people max. More in-depth one-on-one time. That's the way I can deliver more of that and bring in specialty people in finance and assurance and all the other things that you guys are asking for in the summits. So that's a 2-day period for everyone. So you can find that and that information on Gorilla Brave. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. You can find us on Spotify or wherever else you grow yourself through podcasts. And I have a special guest with us today from Colorado. I love when I'm in Colorado, I get to interview Coloradans. I guess that's what we're called, maybe. Not sure. But I have Angela Sandoval from Gigi's Betchin Chickn in Salida, Colorado. And that's Betchin, just so everyone who's looking it up, like wondering how this got out there. It's very clever. I love it. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. I love fried chicken. So anyone, listeners in there or previous employees in business or vendors that were, I was in business, everyone knows there's 2 things that I love, burgers and fried chicken, but fried chicken probably the most. I don't know why. I spend a lot of time with it, so I have a fondness of it. And spending time in Nashville, I have a fondness of Nashville hot chicken also. So
yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
no.
Nashville has some a spot every corner, if not 2.
It's true. So let's talk about your story, where you come from. How'd you get into business? Have you always been in food? Did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Let's go back to the beginning and sort of talk about that. It's all yours. The mic's yours. Take as long as you want.
I have not been, I've been in food because of my cultures. My dad's side, my grandma and my grandfather were migrants from Mexico. And, my mother's side, they were migrants from Spain. And also my grandfather's mother was Arapaho, full-blooded Arapaho Indian. So I was raised around an array of food, like from sun up to sundown. Grandma was making, homemade tortillas on my dad's side and making fresh, burritos and breakfast. And, for lunch, like all of the family would come, cousins and aunts and, to come and eat lunch and, dinner, same thing, with grandpa and all of the cousins and brothers and everybody working. They would come to grandma's house and, she was like Big Mama, she was making food, and she really instilled in us women to be a part of, our culture and cooking and all of that. So I was raised around a lot of just food my whole life and good tasting food. I know what tastes good and what doesn't taste good. So that really turned me into a foodie at a very young age. And, I've just always enjoyed, eating. Better there's nothing better, I think, in life than to eat something very, very, very good and having great conversations over, a great meal, because conversations can rule the world. So, having that instilled in me, that was an aspect. But, I went into nursing, to be honest. I got my degree in 2009. I went into school in 2006 to become an RN. And I went into my RN practice in 2009, went into critical care. And then a couple of years after that, I went into the corporate world and got into nurse leadership, was a young executive for one of the largest home care agencies in the country. Did that for several years. And I just, have been a public servant, a big voice for a lot of things in the community. In Denver, particularly, a lot of people knew me as a huge advocate for a lot of like social issues. So got into that and then, met my husband, and he was in the construction world, and he ended up moving from Philadelphia to here in 2020. And we started a facility maintenance company first here in Colorado. Then we went into several states and landed a national contract and, did that. And we were making a lot of money. But that's when COVID, like in 2020, when COVID happened, I stood in the nursing practice. I'm 17 years of being a nurse. And then when COVID happened, like I just lost all faith in the healthcare system. So sorry, y'all, like Western healthcare is just not what it's cut out to be.
We are on the same page. I was in hospital food and long-term care feeding for 24 years in the fronts, and I've never seen anything as like that in my entire life. I never, so poorly handled, so giving up all the years of knowledge and information we had worked so hard on in academia and in studying and in science. It was crazy. And I'm only on the food side, which to everyone in the hospital is really the most important part, but we're seen as the most minor part. I will say that. Like, people need to eat to live, to get out of the hospital. So anyway, just a whole other topic, but let's go on.
That's a whole other topic. Yeah. Oh no, you're good. You're good. I just I lost faith in that. And so after 2020, thank God I wasn't in a facility. I was in private practice in pediatrics because I had left, when I hit the ceiling with the corporate side of things. And I just, couldn't drink down what they wanted to be serving to the rest of my team. So it's like, I can't do it. But, once that happened, my husband came and then we built a facility maintenance company. And then a year later, after being in business, I left the nursing practice. I still have my credentials. I mean, hey, I paid for my nursing degree and, all of those different kinds of things. So I always have it to fall back on. I totally, truly believe in holistic care, through and through, but that's for another conversation. But then we moved to Salida. I was really tired. When my husband moved to Denver, I was just like, I'm tired of the city. Like, let's move to Salida. That's where my mom lives and my stepdad lives. And I just want to be close to nature. And so we decided that we would be able to move over there because we were doing everything remotely anyways. COVID taught us a lesson that we could do things remotely. And we moved to Salida, and then we were looking for, places to eat, and particularly fried chicken. And there was nothing but Safeways and Walmart. And we ate at some places and it wasn't hitting like it should. And my husband was like, had this grand idea, like, we should do our fried chicken here. Like, this is a community that I think that would be appreciative of it, and we should do fried chicken. I'm like, what? We have facility maintenance company in several states. What are you talking about? And I was like getting tired of that as well. We were making good money, but it just wasn't my passion because I'm a public servant at heart, and dealing with subcontractors and all of that, and just wasn't hitting the way it needed to hit in my spirit. So we decided to go ahead and launch Gigi's Betchin Chicken. I came up with the name because my grandson calls me Gigi because I'm his grandma, but he don't call me grandma. He calls me Gigi. And so my son is a Gen Zer, and me and him had came up with a concept, Glam by Betch. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna say, instead of using, the the other word, we're gonna be using Betchin, because I want to be able to like have it politically correct. And if it's going to be on the radio, or if it's going to be on, you know, on TV or whatever, because I had, big dreams for Gigi's. I'm like, we need to be politically correct and have it really cool. So we'll use Betchin instead of the other way. The other way. A lot of people use it the other way though. And chicken, we take the E out of the chicken, and it'll be chicken in and in. And I talked to a cartoon illustrator, and I told him, hey, I need my girl chicken logo to be a cute girl chicken logo. And she needs to have long eyelashes and a bonnet. And really, I would like her to have the Rosie the Riveter stance, so that people can see her and know that this is all American. And so people recognize the logo. And when they see her, they're like, Rosie the Riveter, especially military people.
Yeah.
So he designed her for me, and the rest is history with that logo, and it means something to us. And so we went into radio, and we did a campaign a week before our grand opening. We did direct mailers because people up in the mountains, they read their mail. We looked at the market, and so we were like, let's do direct mailers. Let's make it hot pink because that's our color. It's a hot fuchsia color, grand opening, fried chicken, and see what happens. Well, and then we also had the chamber involved. So we launched it, and we had such a crazy turnout for the first 6 weeks. We sold over 1,500 pounds of chicken. And we had our menu very well thought out. For the grand opening, we didn't have a soft opening. So we had to learn a lot of things along the way with, the brand of Gigi's and the feedback we were getting. And it was so cool to get the feedback and the love and the support that we got from the Salida community, actually the Chaffee County community. And then we just started doing that first year. We started doing different types of events and catering events and whitewater festivals and, country festivals, and just trying to figure out what we wanted to do with Gigi's. This was a whole pilot that we launched, and, wanted to get in with what can we do with this food truck? And then after I think it was 5 months in business, a gentleman who owns property out in Buena Vista, Colorado, approached us and said, hey, I have some tenants that are a whiskey bar downtown Buena Vista, and they don't have food, and we just finished construction for a food truck to come in there. And I think it would be very cool to have you guys come in there. And so me and my husband had the idea, okay, well, we have this trailer, let's go ahead and get another one in production for the Buena Vista community. Still Chaffee County. So, went to my same people, my health inspector, and went to, my fire inspector, and, went to the town and got everything all set up and situated. And Buena Vista is a smaller, historic resort town that does very well in high season. So we're just okay, let's go ahead and launch this. Let's launch another Gigi's in Buena Vista. So since it's 30 minutes away, I was like, husband, you'll be in Salida, I'll be here in Buena Vista, and just drive there. And that's how we'll do it. And we'll bring our crew together, and you have your crew, I have my crew. And so we launched it the same type of way that we did in Salida, except for we had live music, and it was a whiskey bar called the Slammer. And it was a phenomenal turnout. It was crazy. And then we were getting people from all over the country, from the South that were visiting us, from North Carolina and South Carolina and, Tennessee and Arkansas and Mississippi and Louisiana. And they were writing reviews and saying, this is some of the best fried chicken that they've had. We no longer miss you, Memphis. One lady posted on Facebook, we no longer miss you, Memphis. Like, we found like our chicken, like what? Like, okay. Like, these people from the South are saying that our chicken is amazing. We don't buttermilk, we don't brine. We really perfected our recipes, and our menu is for the chicken connoisseur. And, a lot of people that have even, come through that are Michelin chefs that have said, like, this menu is well thought out. Like, and it is like, the flavor is so impeccable. It's our own marinade, our own dry flour seasoning. And we know, we were like, okay, we're on to something. People are saying it's better than anything that they've tasted, from kids all the way to 80 years old. Okay, great. Perfect. So after launching that second trailer, going into like October of 23, was it 23 or 22, 23? We experienced low, like off season. We opened up in off season and we did very well in 22, which was October of 22. And so I'm like, in both places, me and my husband were experiencing it because the community got comfortable with us being there. And I was just like, this is not going to work. Like, we cannot, like, we got to come up with something. And so my husband was like, because he has an entertainment background and all of that too. And he's just like, you know what? Like, I think we should do a Gigi's Betchin Chicken Colorado food truck tour. And I think it would be epic, like, for us to like.
I love the idea, and this is where you actually started coming onto my radar. So go on with this, because I love this. This is how impactful this is. Go on.
Yes. And so we were like, okay, we're going to take the whole risk. Let's just go ahead and get on the road, right? So he said, with the Colorado food truck tour, we'll make it out to be like, we're freaking rock stars, like fried chicken rock stars. And we're going to go to the underserved mountain communities first before we go into the cities. Okay, perfect. Let's do it. We launched our first, it was a December 27th of 23, was the first week of our route rotation.
What a smart strategy. Start small, get the people loyal in small towns, start the voices small, and then get bigger. It's a great strategy. I just want to emphasize that. Go on with what you're saying.
Thank you. Yes. And so we the first rotation was Canyon City, Colorado, Pueblo West, Colorado, La Habana, Colorado, and Lamar, Colorado. So we ran and we did our marketing, right? So we played around with Meta, and we're just like, okay, let's go ahead and create these flyers, and let's put it out there a week prior to when we're going to go and visit, and like throw a little bit of money on it just so they can get into the community, as well as be a part of the community groups, and post it there. Okay. So we did that. And then the day before, we had another push, with Meta, with our advertising, and we're like, okay, let's see what comes of it. So we come out, and sure enough, like, I saw you on Facebook, I saw you on Instagram, I saw your ad about the fried chicken, and we came to try it. And us building the relationships with people has been like so amazing. So we're like, okay, this is working, and getting the feedback. Can you write us a review? Can you post your food and all this other stuff? And, it started to become a word of mouth thing. And then, we just kept the momentum. Then we run into a pickle in February, and February 11th of 2023. We end up hitting black ice on our way to, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, to La Habana. And the trailer gets totaled. It breaks off of the hitch of our truck, thank God, because when we hit the black ice, My husband was trying to control the truck, and then the trailer breaks off the hit, or it jackknifes, and I'm looking at my husband and I'm like, we are about to roll. And our life just really flashed before our eyes, and you hear boom. And I think it was all by the grace of God, to be honest. Like it had to have been that the trailer broke off when it did. Because if it wouldn't have, I don't know if we would be here today, to be honest. And it broke off of the hitch and it rolled about 3 times. And I saw it from the side mirror. And I'm looking at my husband, and the truck was able to correct itself because it was throwing us around the road with like a rag doll. And then it was just like a devastating situation because we were just like, our business, like it is destroyed, and called insurance. And, they sent out a semi truck because it landed on its top of its head. And when we opened the door, it was just like so mangled in there. And, we canceled our tour. And I was like freaked out, like kind of like PTSD kind of situation. And we go back to Salida without a trailer. And me and my husband are like, what? Because we just had started tour December 23rd or 27th of 23. And this happens February 11th, 23 or 24. And I'm just telling my husband, like, I don't know. Like, and at first he's like, we can't stop. Like, we have to be more conscientious of bad weather and all of that, but we can't stop. Like, we just started. And, the feedback that we're getting from the people, like, we just can't give up. We have another trailer in Buena Vista. We need to pull that trailer, and we need to get back on tour. And I'm like, okay. And after a couple of days, we get back on the road with the other trailer, continuing tour and, dealing with the insurance. Like, I just got to say, all by the grace of God, like he really brought people down our path to help us maneuver through that process. We were able to like get like the loan paid off. I did lose like 30K on that whole situation, but the loan got paid off. And we were down a trailer, but we were just like, we got to keep going. And so then we get another.
Can I pause you there for a second? I just want to emphasize something. I have tears in my eyes, just so everyone knows, like that whole thing. Normally it's like, this is a horrible thing that's happening, right? Like you don't know what to do, but there's this magic that happens in these moments. I don't know how to explain them. It's an awful thing. Like I'm crying because I just can feel the pain. I know what that's like. I know what that's like to lose something that you've worked so hard on and it's finally going well. And all of a sudden it just mangled. And the unity that comes around you in business and the ability to keep going, it happens for a reason. And it took me a long time before I understood that the tests of our lives, these tests in our business, lead to the testimonies of our business as well as ourselves. And we can go in 2 ways with those testimonies. We can be a failure in how we quit and lead people down that path. Or we can be an inspiration and glorify God and understand there's a lesson here and a reason and a fellowship that happens and a community and a bond in our business. And is it necessary and does it cost a lot financially? I don't even, it's overwhelming sometimes. Like you don't even know how to get out of it. And, but in the long run, you start to see what it did for you and the growth that it does for you if you keep going in a positive way and understand that you have to stand back up and keep going, that this is just part of the world, the way that it is. And those who keep going are the ones who continue to be able to get up when knocked down. And that's really what it is. It's really
is.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted, but your test is the testimony now, right?
It really is. And God is so good. And I just got to keep emphasizing like how good he is. Like we live in a broken world, and there's a lot of things that can happen in our lives that could beat us up and bring us down, and not want, we just want to crawl up in the bed and cry ourselves to sleep for, you know, 2 weeks to a couple months and be in depression and oppression. But his strength and his, the fight has to be real, and that's how run in such a way that you're going to win. And my husband talked me out of having fear, but doing it still in fear, you know, doing it, even if you're scared, just do it. Just keep doing it, because if you have this passion and you know that it's going to change lives. And there's a scripture that says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And with our food, people have told us that it touches their soul. I've had, people tell me that I took them back to when they were 10 years old with their mamas making fried chicken for them and their brothers and sisters and cousins on a Sunday, and having tears in their eyes. Don't underestimate what you're doing, and building those relationships. So that's what kept us going. And we got back on the road and we continued the food truck tour with, our second trailer that we pulled from Buena Vista. And we continued on, and because we're building the brand, we got to keep going. And so we kept going, and, we started building with all of these communities. Then we started going into the Pueblo, and going into Colorado Springs, and going into Denver and to Aurora and all of that, and Centennial and Parker, and making our way around town. And everybody started talking about you guys are famous. I have to try your Colorado's famous chicken. And we started talking, and it's, it just blew up, and we're like, oh my gosh. Then come April, the people that we had our Buena Vista trailer at, Rally Liquor, Tom and Maury, the owners had approached us and said, hey, we really miss the chicken in Chaffee County. And me and Tom were thinking about helping you guys get another trailer in production so that we can have one here on our lot, because we miss you guys so much, and we just want to be able to be a support. And we were just like, are you serious right now? They're like, yes.
Here, I need another tissue box.
I know. And me and my husband, I was like, what? Oh my gosh, this is so unexpected. And it was I couldn't, I thought it was in a dream. And I told my husband, you guys want to do what? And they're like, yes, let's get it into production. What is it going to take to get it into production? So then we call our manufacturer, and we're like, hey, with Fudd Trailer, and we're like, hey, can we discuss about getting another trailer in production? Tom and Maury are wanting to step in, and they want one there, and they are wanting to help us get another one. And they're like, okay, well, you could get one in production tomorrow. Do you know that Tom and Maury, they wrote a check to us and said, go take it to them, get it in production. It was so crazy. And we didn't really announce that either, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
2 months after the accident, we lose our other trailer, and we lost money on that, and we had a couple of thousand left over, but we're just we got one trailer. It's okay. We'll make a way. And then this happened, and we're just wow, okay, let's just take our blessing and let's go for it. So we get her in production in April. So 2 months after the accident, was not expected. So we get it into production, and we're like, okay, great. This is what we're going to do. And then we get the trailer in production, and then she gets ready. Whether was it July 22nd or 23rd for us to pick her up. And when we pick her up, yeah, we're just like, and then, it's like, okay, from our trial to our comeback, our baby girl is here. And it was like a whole big deal. And we went and picked her up. And, we took some time off of tour to be able to set that trailer up in Buena Vista. So we had it opened in Salida and Buena Vista. My husband opened in Salida. And then I got a crew to be able to work that trailer in Buena Vista. And then after we got the crew together, then we got back on tour. And then we got back on tour and, like that was in July. And then like we're coming up against like on our another like year of being in business. So 2 years of being in business, and tour has been phenomenal. And like in October, so July, I would say in September, we did a tour stop in Silverthorne, Colorado. And a GM of the La Quinta Inn in Silverthorne, Colorado comes to me, and she's from North Carolina. And she's like, this is like the second time that I've eaten your guys' chicken. And she's like, I'm going to tell you right now, like your guys' chicken is some of the best I've ever had in my life. And I'm from North Carolina. She's like, I really need you guys to take a look at this, restaurant that we have vacant in our hotel. Old Chicago used to be there, and we would love for you to take a look at it. And I'm just like, okay. I was like, I'm not really thinking about a brick and mortar. I said, I have my 2 trailers. I'm looking at just continuing our mobile fleet and just building the demand and the blueprint there, and taking my mobile fleets and duplicating it into other states, because we've been asked to go into other states. So I don't know if I want to be sidetracked by brick and mortar. Like I don't think I'm into it, and I'm not interested.
Did you say it
And
was an
so
old Chicago? I'm sorry. Is that what
it
you
used
said?
to be an old Chicago.
So that's a fairly big building then, correct? Or is it a building or is it a place? Because in Denver, they're
It's
like
instead,
they're pretty
yeah.
big.
Yeah, it's a pretty big place. It's a
Okay.
hotel restaurant
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
inside the La Quinta Inn.
Yeah. Go on. Go on.
Yeah. So it's a hotel restaurant inside the La Quinta Inn. And so I was like, no, I'm not interested. And she like kept messaging me. I think you should come and look at it. It's like a turnkey. Like, I think you should come and look at it. And I'm like, okay, no, I don't think so. And I told my husband, and my husband's like, go look at it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And so then we went off to Steamboat. And then the next time we come around to Silverthorne, she comes again. And she's like, I really need you to come and take a look at this. Like, please, like, come and take a look at it. You would be successful. I don't know if you've heard of Silverthorne. Like, it is a tourist area. It's ranked number 3 in the state of Colorado for tourism, like Copper and Keystone. And she's like, selling it to me. And I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll come in and walk it. So I came and walked it, and I was like, wow, like it has everything, like from tables to chairs to glasses to, all these supplies, and it had equipment in it too. So, and it's huge. And I was just like, what the heck? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, my husband comes and he visits and he takes a look at it, and then he starts getting ideas. Then he starts doing his market analysis, and he's like, I think we should, let's talk negotiation with him. And so we talk negotiation with them, like, hey, maybe we are interested on being able to do this. Like, let us get, do more research, get ourselves more educated of the area, because we got to continue to do the tour. Like, I'm not taking that away from Colorado. And I have to make sure that everything is balanced in order for us to do this brick and mortar. Cause like our tour is pretty much everything to our state. And then we've already built the demand, and I'm not taking it away from Colorado. And so we came up with this whole strategy, and we came into the deal, and we're only doing like our month to month. We're doing a month to month with him for the first year. to see like how everything goes, and the town is super excited. I got my liquor license. Like the mayor is from North Carolina, and she told the whole town council I have had her chicken and it is so amazing. So is her mac and cheese. And she said in front of council, thank you for choosing Silverthorne to put your restaurant in, because we know who you guys are. And so the town is so excited, and of us being able to take this space and utilize it. And I'm going to actually curtain half of it off so it's more intimate, and I can expand it whenever I want, so that I can like make sure that as we continue to like work our services out, that I have about 50 people at a time, and people making reservations, so that it's not hard on my staff. And yeah, so like we're about to be opening. I'm 3 permits down, like I have to get my fire inspection, and that's going to happen next week. Then the last thing, my sign permit, that one's kind of been a little pain in my little hiney, but I'm working with them in regards to that. And then
That's
our
always
health
the one I
inspection.
think we always underestimate in business. That getting their signs approved on the outside of the buildings is one of the craziest things I've ever experienced, all the way, no matter where I am in the world. It is almost the harder than getting a liquor license.
It is. I already got my liquor license, which is crazy because everybody's like, you got your liquor license in less than 30 days. I was like, yeah, because the town of Silverthorne was pushing for it. The mayor, she's like, oh yeah, I moved to approve. But I'm like, man, do I need to call the mayor about this gosh darn sign permit? Like,
oh, gosh. I don't know. And there are times where I've had the sign company mess up or get the specs off a little bit, and it's slightly too big because I wanted to maximize the space, and then someone comes along and measures it and tears the sign off. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, oh, it's 1 inch too wide on each side. And I'm like, wow. I don't even know how to deal with this right now, but okay, I'll put up a new sign. But those are things that it's really like that. It's a very like shopping centers are like HOAs. Building places, communities are like HOAs in a lot of ways to businesses. It's just a crazy thing to think about, especially if you came from food trucks going into it, because you don't really think about those things. It's crazy. I got some questions for. Talk to me about the menu. What is the menus like on the food trucks? And then let's talk about the menus going into the new brick and mortar.
So our menu, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So like with our breakfast, we have our classic chicken and waffles, but we put a little twist on that too. We have our classic chicken and waffles, our Betchin French toast chicken sandwich, which is our award-winning sandwich when we went and did the Chicken Fight Festival. That was the Sammy that won. And then our chicken biscuit. And then we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day. So people love that. And a lot of people will go after that waffle or go after that French toast or after that biscuit. It just depends on what their taste is. So I think that's like a really sweet spot to be able to offer to people breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day from the food truck. And then for lunch, it's the smaller like baskets where we have like our tender platters, our chicken Caesar like salads, fried or grilled, our wings, party wings, whole wings. You can get them our original fried, or you can get them dipped in our Nashville barbecue, sweet teriyaki, garlic parm, or our buffalo. And then we have, our lunch special with our chicken Philly cheesesteak. Since my husband is from Philly, you can get that grilled or fried. You can get it OG style, buffalo style, or Nashville style. And then for our sides, we have like our Caesar salad, our fries, our mac and cheese, our mash and gravy that people really love. And then, for our dinner, we have like our buckets, our 12-piece bucket with our 2 family sides and our biscuits or our Texas toast grilled with butter. And again, like our tender platters, which are a bigger like size of platter. Our wings, our whole wings, and our 12-inch chicken Philly cheesesteak, our dinner size of the Caesar salad, grilled or fried, and then, our sides. People go bananas over it.
Amazing. Are you going to take the same menu then into the brick and mortar in Silverthorne?
Yes. Yes, I sure. And then I will also add specials, like the different types of specials. Now that we are in a brick and mortar, I am looking at doing like our Betchin like fried coconut chicken, like our, Betchin chicken parm, like, Betchin tacos, fried or grilled. You know what I mean? Like, just switching things up.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
love it.
pastry chef. Yeah. So we'll have like our desserts and all of that. So we'll do our specials, our chicken noodle soup, all that. And once it's gone, it's gone. But we'll add to it. But as we open, I don't want to be doing any type of specials until like we've got our flow, we've got our groove, we know what, front and back of the house, the communication and getting the feedback from the community of their experience is top priority to me. So I won't be, in putting like specials right away, but that is going to be coming. I want to give it at least like 60 days to 90 days of the current menu and getting my crew, everybody used to our menu and how things are supposed to look and how things are supposed to be. And then also like this is going to be our commissary for our trailers. So both of our trailers are now here, housed here, and will be dispersed on routes here. So both of them for the first time will be going out on tour in March.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think there's so much more to the food truck tour also. I can see your husband's background. Like there's a group of food trucks that sort of join you guys and it's like this big deal in the Western United States. Just saying, I see that in your future, the way you guys organize, the way you do things, even adding another concept or something. But there is like a bunch of different business verticals here and horizontal and vertical integration that I think there's there for you guys. I'm excited to see where it goes because I think there's a lot of things here. I talked about the Colorado food truck tour. Everyone knows I like fried chicken. You guys definitely started popping up on my radar. And the one thing that I will say is that when Colorado doesn't, we have chains of fried chicken, I guess, and there's some good places here and there. I think Bird Call might be one of them, but it's not there that they did the bite that you guys have, the Colorado, what I'll call Colorado famous fried chicken. We might as well call it that. Deserves it. It's a powerful thing that you have going on. I mean, Bojo's has started to do the same thing with their pizza, started in a mountain town also, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know,
wow. I didn't know that.
yeah. So Bojo's is pizza. I believe it's Idaho Springs, but I'm not positive. Like, just bear with me. I'm not a Coloradan.
It's
But I
okay.
have been there to the original one, and I know they've now started growing, and they are Colorado's famous pizza, for lack of a better term, or what
Oh,
Colorado's pizza is
wow.
known for. But it's the same thing. They started out of Mountain Town.
Wow.
That is a staple, I would say, of Colorado pizza. At least if I think about it, if I had to think about one that represented Colorado, that would be it. So I just think there's an inspiration here. I think there's a lot of things here. Community. I want to go back to the food trailer thing. Sometimes the hardship is to bring us into fellowship. And now you guys have business partners that are really invested in your brand and in the growth of your name in Buena Vista,
Yes.
and it's that type of thing. While it may to a lot seem like a setback, in the long run, having fellowship in your corner that's willing to do things like that, so I mean, what a blessing.
Yes,
It
it is a
matters.
blessing. It
Yeah.
does. It really does. And even here in Silverthorne, like it's just so crazy all of the support. Like even though like we keep getting things thrown our way and that it's going to happen with life. We try to just keep our eyes focused on, what our purpose is and the plans that we have and also like keeping our eyes on Jesus because like I'll tell you what, like sometimes it feels like we're sinking like Peter on the water, and we'll have to reach our hand up for him to pull us up and deal with the different situations that are thrown our way. And I'm going to tell you, it has not been an easy situation with this whole thing, but we just love what we do. We love that the community. We love all of those people that really support us and know truly like who we are. Like, again, like that's why we had the Taste and See tour. We have the different types of tour names that we've been doing. The first was like Worth the Wait. The second one was Taste and See. And this one is now as All Roads Lead to Silverthorne. But
Clever. I like that. It's like the Jamaican bobsled and naming it like Cool Runnings. I like this. They all
Uh-huh.
deserve names. I agree with you. It
Yes,
matters. Go
yes,
on.
yes, it
Do you
does.
know,
Yes, it does.
I don't love flying Frontier Airlines for numerous reasons, but I do like how they have a different animal and they name every animal on each airplane.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool. Anyway, go on.
it is. It is. But like we just experienced like a situation out in Pueblo just this weekend when we had to cancel like Trinidad and Lamar. I didn't go into a lot of details, but like with that accident that we had last February when the trailer it hit the bed of the truck a little bit and then the side of the truck when it jackknifed. And it was a small minor damage. I wasn't really concerned about like the truck. Like it was just like small minor damage that I thought had happened. And I was concerned about the business and getting that situated with the trailer and all that. Well, this last Thursday, when we put the hitch put the truck onto the hitch, the trailer onto the hitch, you could see from the cab to the bed that there was separation. And I was like, this doesn't look right. And like, we have a lift kit on the back of the truck. And that lift kit was not lifting the trailer. And I was like, okay, what is happening here? And the next morning, like we chanced it and we took the trailer to the hotel that we were in. But I told my husband to take it off of the truck. And, we took it into the collision place and they said, this truck was in an accident. I said, yeah, like in February, that's the only accident it had. And they were like, what happened? And I told them and they're like, yep. There had to been a small bend in the frame because you can see it now that you've put in all the pressure and going on tour with the trailers. It just was aggravating it and now it's showing itself, but it is unsafe to drive. And I was like, what? And so we dealt with that just this last Friday. And I thought we were stranded. My cousin lives over there. So I was just like, praying again and just like, God, what are we going to do? Like this is not good for the tour or whatever. And we have to get back to Silverthorne to meet with all of like our account, people this week and all this and that. And, the insurance tried to give me a hassle and was just like, your husband wasn't listed as a driver. And I was like, what do you mean? Like he was listed on the commercial policy. Why wasn't he listed on the truck policy, the personal policy? Oh, we don't know, whatever. It has to go to a different department. So they were like, you could go get a rental car and we'll assume responsibility once it gets reviewed with this department or whatever. And I was like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? So I thought I literally like my trailer was stranded in Pueblo at the hotel. We were stranded. My son, we went to the rental place and I had left my driver's license in Silverthorne. And I was like, I got my credit card. And then they were like, your son needs a credit card. So my son doesn't have a credit card. So I couldn't get a rental car. So I'm literally like in tears and I just go before God and Isaiah. There's a scripture that says Isaiah 41:13 that he had took me to on Monday of last week. And he says, I am the Lord your God who takes you by your right hand, who says, do not fear, I will help you. And that scripture, boom, came to me again. And like, that's why he took it to me on Monday, because he knew what was going to happen on Friday. And I'm like, what the heck? So I just went to him. I was like, what do I do? And then I remembered I got an email from Capital One who's financed my truck that I am pre-authorized for another vehicle. So I said, screw it. Let me see if I could get another truck. And I went to the Alpine place and I was like, I'm pre-qualified. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, all I want is a truck that can haul. My God, that's all I need. I'm not looking to drive anything. I don't care. Like, I need it to haul at least 9,000 pounds. I need a truck now. And the girl was like, okay, well, I have this truck because it was a 2020 like Dodge and all this and that. And I said, okay, let's go with it. I got out of there. I ended up getting the F-150 Lariat and it hauls 13,500 pounds within an hour. And I was able to get my trailer and get my butt back up here to Silverthorne, and we can continue tour, and we'll figure out what's happening with this truck that's still in Pueblo that's unsafe to drive. That used to be my hauler for tour.
It's so crazy how that stuff happens. Actually, the setbacks and the hurdles and the way things sort of happen when you need them to. There's, like, okay, like this happened, but here's we can't help that the trailer flipped over, but at least you're able to use the truck till now until the timing of getting approved for another one. And I mean, that, I don't know, like, to me, like, you can't argue with that type of timing in my life, especially if you stay steadfast. I think that's an important thing to everyone to take out of it. It's a word used in the Bible for a reason, or the word that means it from both ancient Hebrew and ancient Greek, meaning don't stop. Just because it gets hard, do not stop. Stay steadfast in your vision and your mission, and stay steadfast in understanding that whatever it is that's going on, it gets better because you stay faithful, and trust.
And trust.
It's kind of hard to understand, and it takes a while because sometimes there's these really long, dark periods. But I agree. I think that would be my thing. I want to talk a little bit about the Chickn Fight Fest. It's something that's pretty popular here in Colorado. At least I'm aware of it. Maybe it's just because I like fried chicken.
It is. They say it's the Super Bowl.
Yes. That would be an accurate way of describing it. And so talk to me about that. I think it's worth noting it. I think the creators of that have done what an amazing job to promote food, chicken in Colorado, or I think there's now multiple states that participate in it. But talk to me a little bit about that.
So, we didn't even know that we were going to be participating in that, to be honest. Like, it was just one of the one-offs. And one of my friends with 303 Fashion, they do the Denver Fashion Week, Scott McDowell, he runs that, and he messaged me. He's like, hey, are you going to be participating in the Chickn Fight Festival? I'm like, no. I was like, I'm not, because the whole state of Colorado has already dubbed us Colorado's famous chicken, and I'll be darned if something is rigged and then something's going to like try to like devalue like who we are. Like, I'm absolutely not, because I don't even know who those people are, and they can have favoritism, and I already know this because I've experienced it before, and I'm not doing it. And he's just like, wow. He's like, I know the people that are doing it and I'm friends with them, and they are not like that. It is blind testing, and I think that you should do it since you are Colorado's famous chicken. You need to show up. And at first I was like, heck no, I'm not. Then I told my husband about it, of course.
I'm like, put a male ego involved, because if we have confidence attached with that ego, it's on, right?
Seriously. I told my husband about it, and he's just like, no, we're gonna do it. And I was like, we're gonna not do it. And he's like, yes, we are. He's like, we need to go. We have to go. And he like did his research to see who it was and who's putting it on or whatever. And so Scott was like, here's the information to the lady that's putting it on, who's coordinating it. And so from what are they, Dining Out magazine. So I was like, okay. So I reached out to her and I was like very just blunt. And I said, hey, Scott McDowell told me that I could still participate, even though it's like a week before the event. I don't know how that happened. She's like, yep. He told me that you guys are Colorado's famous chicken, and we do have a spot for you. And I was like, how did that happen? I thought you guys closed the thing. She's like, no, we have a spot for you. And I'm like, okay, well, first, before I say yes, I need to know that there is integrity with this fight fest, and who's the judges, and like what makes them like to be able to judge people's dishes. Like, give me the scoop on that, because like, I'm not looking to be blindsided and have you guys make Gigi's Betchin chicken a mockery because you guys have favoritism with individuals or relationships with individuals. And it's just not a fair situation. So like, explain it to me. And she did. And she says, no, over the last like couple years, I took over and we do blind testing now, because before it was favoritism. And I'm going to be honest with that. She's like, but it's not anymore. And it's Michelin chefs and food critics that write reviews digitally as well as with magazines and all of that. And they are the ones who will be judging everybody's dishes. And she's like, and I can assure you that it is with utmost integrity. So I said, okay, that's all I need to know. I was like, but if it's not, I'm going to call you out on it. And so she's like, oh, no, 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 no. So we went, and that's how we participated. And we got videos from a lot of people that went and tried everywhere else. And the guy was like, this is the best Betchin chicken in the world in this whole fight. He's like, I went and tried it everywhere else. And, a lot of people came that was our friends that talked with us. We ended up getting second place in the fried category, because that's the category that we selected. And it was our Betchin chicken French toast Sammy, and then it was our Betchin fried chicken Philly cheesesteak Nashville style. So those two Sammys won.
I'm going to say this just from my perspective, real quick, because I think this is so valuable. And then I'm going to do a check thing here. And then I'm going to ask some questions about the Chicken Fight Fest as well, because I love this. I think in life, things happen. We cannot stop them. It's part of life and free will and all of this thing. However, if we stay, to go back to the steadfast word, and I want to anchor this with the Chicken Fight Fest, and we search for truth, okay? It wasn't what, some people may say what just went on there was challenging or argumentative or whatever or unappreciative, but you have to make sure there's truth in the businesses you do business with. And what do I mean by that? I mean universal truth.
Yes. Yes.
And why is it important? Because your brand and your image being attached to even the slightest bit of something that's not that way can tarnish it and cause problems. No matter how well your business has been doing, no matter how many years it's in business. How do I know? It's happened to me many, 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 many years into business, 2 decades. When you don't seek it, and you're trying to do something or move things too fast or jump on an opportunity, and you don't check those boxes that you always normally would, if all of a sudden you don't, if you already are, be aware that that's the exact moment that you're the weakest. That's just something.
Yeah.
So this lesson is very important. What is the integrity of the things that we get involved with, who we partner with, from the people we get our supplies from, whatever it is, it matters. Because whatever it is, we're also echoing that into their employees, whatever they're hiring. And so we're supporting whatever that is that they're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's twofold. It's not only to protect our brand, but it's also, do we want to be a part of putting that into the world? That's a question.
Yeah, that's a question you have to ask yourself. And you have to be very blunt with people, because people will try to make it like, just because like whatever reason they may be jealous. And I always tell people, like, because we get a lot of pushback whenever we go and do like festivals, and there's other trailers and trucks, and people in the festival will start like talking, and they'll start bringing their friends and their friends and their family because they see the platters and how awesome it tastes and whatever. And we get like pushback from, different individuals. And it's like, hey, like, don't be mad at me. Like do better, Like, I can't, like, I'm not going to speak on your business or none of that, because that's not my position. My position is to do what we do exceptionally, be a favorite of individuals. And if you want to take notes, and do what you got to do to help your like purpose and your brand out, or whatever the case may be. And, with these different events, you have to be just very conscientious, especially like a chicken fight festival. Like you're not, I need to know what the integrity is.
In a day of social media, I think that we've learned that with social media, participating events, participating in certain things, like you become attached to it on social media. They leverage it, you leverage them, and then that can compound quickly. And it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I did appreciate the topic. What is it like to feel like it was a risk, but now there's an additional layer of credibility?
What does it feel like?
Yeah.
It feels also real. Like, I don't feel like we're there yet. I mean, I know we're there. There's a lot that we have to accomplish, and I'm just like enjoying the journey. It's a risk. Everything is a risk, but I'd rather take risks and learn from all of my risks, even if it's good or bad. And that's how you learn to like mature your business, and what will work, what won't work. I mean, Thomas Edison, what if he would have stopped at, creating electricity, he wouldn't have created electricity. If he, what was it, 1,000 times? He would have stopped at 800. You just got to keep going. And it feels also real. Like I just don't feel like we're there yet. She's a baby. Gigi's Betchin chicken is a baby, even though we're being recognized and even boycotted. We got boycotted with Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's for the artesian markets and Northfield shops and promenade shops. I got an email from the lady who runs that saying that the chicken franchises don't want us on doing those events because they're scared of us, our yummy chicken, taking away from their profits. So being able to be recognized by those types of brands, they know that we're coming for them and we're the next generation of chicken. Do I believe that we have made it? I don't think so. Not yet.
Oh, and just to mention, I'm pretty sure God's the CEO of your company. And it's not just because you're closed on Sundays that everyone thinks that. So I just want to emphasize that you have a really good brand. You have something that is really doing good in the world and has a very valuable story. And your testimony is part of your brand. And I'm really looking forward to where that goes. I think it's very important. Talk to me about motivation, inspiration, role models, mentors that you've had in life, sort of what keeps you going, because you're on a journey and it's not easy to pick yourself back up, getting knocked down, and then almost 5 months later feeling like you're getting knocked down again, then 5 months later almost getting knocked down again. So what keeps you going?
I have always been a fighter since I was little. I was a little bad girl, and I've always been a voice. I would always stand in the gap for like when kids were being teased or bullied or mistreated or whatever, and I would fight on their behalf. So I've always been a fighter. I have never allowed like anybody to like overtake like the weak. I've always been like somebody that's weaker or is more timid. Like I've always just been, a fighter. And I look over like my past of my life, and I look at all of the times that I've had so many different challenges, and believe me, I have. You know, I didn't get to be a little girl. Mom and dad were not there. I raised myself since I was 12 years old. I saw the good, the bad, the ugly of the world. But when I look over my life and I look at like everything that I was able to overcome and the stigmatism of someone coming from the streets or whatever, of what they become either in prison or in jail or their associations or whatever, I overcame all of that. And, I got to God be the glory. And I'm not like a religious person. I'm really not. Like, I have a relationship with my creator. I had a divine experience in my life that woke me up, and I was a complete atheist until I really like had that divine experience with just myself and somebody else, like not just myself and God, like not anybody else in my ear about anything else. Like, God is love. And so I know that he loves me. And that's one thing that I know. And he meets everybody where they are. We're all human, and we are all brothers and sisters of one another. Some of us might be a little more bad than than most, but we all are different and unique, but we are loved. And one thing that I know that keeps me going is that I focus on the love of God and everything that he's brought me through. And that's what inspires me. Like, when I want to give up, because trust me, I'm human. When those things come, like, it makes me cry because like he's so good. And it's not what people say, like your relationship should be. Like, it's on the inside of you, and he will guide you and be your inner compass. And just trust and know that you can't do it by yourself. You're not alone, because when you're by yourself, it's a lonely place. So whenever you just pull into that strength on the inside of you, when you go in and you allow like God and the Holy Spirit, and not what the world has made him to be, Jesus, to just focus on that, and like focus on the promises and taking him at his word. Like, he watches over his word to perform it. And I know this. And when I take him at his word and I just let go and I allow him to be God and allow him to give me the wisdom to do what I need to do, that's what inspires me to get back up.
Yeah, and sometimes hurdles or obstacles are like dams to direct us in certain directions that ultimately in the long run, we have no idea what that trajectory is. But if we look back, eventually we understand. And it's not always true. There isn't always understanding. But I think if we continue to be steadfast, that understanding does happen.
It does. It does. And with people too, like, my motivation is all of our Betchin family, like all of our family and friends that continue to like push us to keep going, like God brings all these wonderful people down my path to help me mature and help me to grow and help me to be inspired. But I'm inspired by all of you guys. I'm inspired by every single person that comes down our path and is encouraging to us and uplifting to us. And that's what makes us go. Like, there's some people that are going to talk their crap, whatever. I don't pay attention to that. What I pay attention to and my motivation is all of you guys. So I'm very appreciative of every single one of you.
Yeah, you have an incredible story. I'm definitely going to give you guys some time, but I want to talk to you guys again, like maybe after next season. We'll talk about that. The link, everyone, for anyone who wants to be on the show, food, beverage, nutrition, farmers, hospitality entrepreneurs, the link's in the show notes. You can click on it if you want to be on the show. But I would love you to be back on the show. It is for the whole year, the calendar, because I think that once you get through the opening, give you some time to get your feet underneath you. I would like to talk about that journey too.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Yeah, because I think it's important for the audience to see the journey continue and see that it is a journey. I don't want to just take a snapshot. I want to be able to continue to tell the story, because I think it's important, and it's important for us to witness it as an audience, your testimony. And so I would love to continue to do that. This is going to be my last question for you. Do you have time for one more question?
I do. Yes, I do.
where do you hope this goes in the future? You talked about you don't know, but I think strategically, obviously, you and your husband you talk business. And I think one of the points I want to make is an entrepreneurial couple is just so different than the couple that comes home and just works in different places and then gets the kids to school, because the difference I've experienced both in some ways, both separate and both working together. And the difference of an entrepreneurial couple and amount of time they talk about stuff is so different. So let's talk about future strategy. Where do you hope this goes from here? And we talked a little bit about it already.
Yeah. So we know that Gigi's is the next generation of chicken. That's one thing we know. We know that the blueprint that we create here in Colorado, which we already have for our mobile fleet, now we're going to create that for the brick and mortar restaurant entertainment concept on, the scale of being a hotel restaurant. I believe that we are going to be like the black label. Me and my husband already talked about it, like black label of chicken. We're going to go to a scale of like a Ruth Chris of chicken. And we're going to have, we have levels to it. So there's that family level, there's that sports bar, entertainment level. And then there will be that black label, like gourmet level on top of our mobile fleets that will go into markets and build the brand as we did here in Colorado, which there's people anticipating there. We've been asked to go into Arizona and Texas and Missouri and Mexico and New Mexico and Utah and North Dakota. So there's, a lot of push that, hey, when are you guys coming here? And it's so fun that we're going to be able to expand it the way that we want to expand it and really change and revolutionize and pioneer a different way of a dining experience from the food truck level to the brick and mortar level. So we're excited about that.
I love this in concentrating in a vertical, particularly the chicken vertical, because it is, if you start to stretch it out, it is extremely untapped. Okay. And one of the things I like about your business strategy, which I think benefits this strategy to get to where you are, the strategies match in this way. There's two ways to look at things. Either I can create a unique brand or a unique product and go into a big market like Denver, like whatever a specialty item would be, because it's unique. I can get around all the barbecue trucks, taco trucks, pizza trucks, whatever. Okay. The other option is you have to create an extremely, extremely great brand and then compete against these guys. Okay. It becomes hard. Even the food trucks that are already there or whatever. Okay. So what am I saying? Then there's the strategy of establishing yourself in small communities that maybe demand a product that's common, but it gives you time to build a brand and build a quality product before you end up in what I would call a competitive war. Because even though we need to focus on growing an industry as a whole, that's the most important thing. Not everyone looks at it that way. There are a lot of competitors, and the big guys especially don't want to lose market share because it's become about money. And when that tweak happens, it's no longer about building industry or jobs or community, even though they're participating in the communities. It's about making sure no one else has the ability to participate. And that's an important thing for everyone to understand. Why is that? Do they have the ability to do that? Sure. Free markets, we believe in it. Yes. Can they do that? Can they squeeze you out? That's part of what we're talking about. But if you're going to go against them, you need to have a credibility. You need to think about how, when you're building your business from day one, as you start building it and things become popular, what do I need to do to be competitive? What kind of morals and ethics and values do I actually need to put in my business to be put in place so I don't end up like that if I don't want to be?
Absolutely.
Because if you have a good brand, they're going to end up being a big company. And so these are all the things that I think are important. Let's talk about core values and employees real quick. I know I said it was my last question, but this is truly my last question because I think it's important because you have a lot of loyalty. You have a lot of customer service that's obviously going a long way, where mayors are asking you to come into their towns and happy that you're there, and so on and so forth. Local businesses, hotels, whatever, to take spaces to put the food trailer. Talk to me about that, and then I promise I'll let you off.
No, you're good. So the core values, you asked me about the core values for the business.
Absolutely.
So our core values, like, even though we are expanding, even though we want to expand, I know a lot of people have said, oh, franchise and all this other stuff. I am going to keep the business private. It will not go into public sectors. The reason being is because if you go, you have a chance of building a board that can really take away everything that you worked for. So what we have decided to do is that we will remain private. What we're looking for to be able to build a corporate wealth legacy will be corporate, but it's still going to be having those core family values where, people, when you got to care about your people. Corporate wealth is your people. And this is something, as a young executive, when I was working for that home care agency, they forgot about all of the nursing crews that were the boots on the ground. And, they wanted to line their pockets. And it's a sad thing to say, but it happens. And they didn't want to, do this and that and the other for like insurance and benefits and all of those different kinds of things that help people thrive and want to work for you. So for me, I saw like what they were doing, and I was just like, I don't want no piece of this. Like, I want to be able to build an environment of employees and people coming in and getting their buy-in. So looking at each market and each, like the Silverthorne market, the tours on the trucks and all of that, like, I would like to have people that come in that work with us and want to like take ownership and be a part of like having like percentage in the business of the market, and then looking at like financial literacy and building portfolios for my people. So it'll be an employee owned company.
There's a lot of important things you said there. I think because schools don't teach financial literacy in any format anymore, it's become part of the businesses to make sure that we do that. And I know that people are like, what? It is. Give them the resources. Maybe it's an HR thing. I don't know. But I agree with this 100% because we're paying them. If they're blowing in, they're desperate. They're not going to help us financially in our business if they're constantly struggling. Their mind's going to be worried.
Yes. Yes.
So, and even if not, you're building a strong human that may outgrow your business and go do something great in the world because you helped him in this way. Both are equally rewarding.
Yes, absolutely. And having a workforce program that really matters with giving solid benefits, so that when you have a good workforce program, you have great benefits, they're able to have like a buy-in with percentage of ownership stake into that, brick and mortar, or that tour or whatever, that we are creating. Because I've already discussed this with my business attorneys on how we're going to do that. And when you're able to do that, then that right there is staying power and growing power. And you have to be able to invest in those individuals and give them the inspiration. And when people come and they work with me, I'm like, look, we're getting this stuff from the mud, but I'm looking towards like the future of Gigi's Betchin Chickn and bringing in, the SBA 7A, capital expansion loans that will be able to like put me together a workforce program to be able to develop something that is going to be very influential for our employees, and, them, wanting to stay and be with us for the long haul to build the brand together and us, get wealthy together, that's just what it is. And, being able to recognize every single person that puts their heart and their soul into the business and giving them incentive, like percentage, like, hey, what was the profits this last quarter? Okay, there's a check that's going to be going out to each one of these people that are, working, that have busted their butts and they have really like flourished, this quarter or whatever. Like, we're looking at having that type of sharing. And I just think that we'll be able to retain, and we will be able to have lifers with us. So
yeah, I'm going to cut myself off because I can. I'm like full of questions. I'm like bursting with them. I'm going to save them for when we do another
okay.
one. But I love this. I love this. It's a powerful story. So as we finish, I'm going to let you have the finishing comments. Normally I would do them, but I'm going to give them to you this time. If you could sort of just give the audience anything. There's a lot of food and beverage entrepreneurs that listen in, and entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, meaning they're trying to figure out how they can make their way into entrepreneurism. What would you say to them?
I would say that educate yourself as much as possible. If you want to go into something, like, don't overdo it, but like get yourself like up to what's going on in that industry, what's going on in that market, what's going on in your communities, and really like having conversations with people that can help elevate you. And, I would say put your plan together, have a good plan that you can visualize, that you can bring into fruition, and it could be tangible to you. And I would say go for it. I mean, you don't overthink it. Just go for it, and really search within yourself. Like, why do you want to go into that industry? What is your business going to be called? What is your logo going to be? What is it going to mean? And it has to have meaning. Make sure that everything that you do counts. And I would just say, jump in and go for it. What do you got to lose? But learn. That's all about learning.
Yeah, and every setback as well. I agree with that.
Yes. And then when you have your setbacks, don't give up. Keep the good fight of faith. Run in such a way that you're going to win and see yourself winning. It's really like going in and meditating and taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. You're human. Stuff's going to happen. Just be prepared for it and know that there's a solution to every problem. It's not that serious. If it's not like it's super crazy where, you're getting hit with a diagnosis that is like a cancer diagnosis, or, even with that, you have to overcome with that and not allow it to knock you down, because you still have life in you. Or if you get hit with the financial situation, keep your eyes on the prize. There's always a solution to the problem. Don't get frantic. Cry it out. You got to cry it out and let it like, just let those emotions, go, and then move forward as to what steps do I need to take to overcome this. And when you focus yourself into doing that, trust me, the answers will come and the situation will be taken care of. It's just like with every dark night, there's a brighter day. And you just got to know that joy comes in the morning. It does. Even though it doesn't feel like it.
I know.
It does.
I just wrote this in a social media post. Something, I smile, it gets better. It does. You got to stay steadfast and you got to stay positive and
steadfast. I like that word.
One of the craziest things, I swear to everyone in the audience, it works. And it is so for me, it goes against everything. I get it. We need to put on our own mess first. That is true. But what is also true is the way to get unstuck and out of ourselves in a situation is go serve someone else or give to someone else, or random acts of kindness, whatever it is, small or big, whatever you need to do. Going to serve someone else or be there in someone else in need helps for whatever reason. Give wisdom and perspective to your setback and allow you to move forward. I don't know why it is, but it's true. If you seek fellowship but not only
Yes.
for you to receive, but almost flip it on its head and be like, God, I'm really in need to receive right now. Someone else must feel this way. Let me go give to them. And it is amazing what happens in that weird realization or grounding in humanity, where it's not only about me, that I realize that someone else might feel this way also. And if I help them, then it's me not feeling alone. And in that fellowship, I feel ease faster than I normally would, the presence of God, because he works strongly in miracles through fellowship. We just talked about him on this show.
Yes. I mean, it's like you got to do it when you feel like there's no way and you want to give up. There is a way. I'm not even gonna like sugarcoat it. There was a couple of times during this tour where me and my husband had got hit financially on a lot of things. Okay. And we went out on a prayer. Okay. We had a negative 81 cents in our bank account. I'm gonna cry on this one. But we went out, okay, and we were like, we gotta hustle. We can't like allow that, because the financial stuff will happen, and it'll hit you. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have never been in that state. Not to say never, maybe when I was younger, but to be at a negative 81 cents and operating our business, like we still went out. We still went out. We did it. And God provided. When it didn't look like there was a way, there was a way. And we have overcome so many obstacles. And we have just pushed through even when it didn't look like it. So I got to encourage you guys that even when it doesn't look like it and there's no way, do it anyway and just trust. And I promise, do it anyway.
It's crazy. I agree with you. It's almost like the pressure is meant to continue our forging. And
Yes. Iron sharpens iron, man.
yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. The friction does not feel good at all. But I, you got to just keep running the race, man. You just do. You can't let anything like sidetrack you. Like there's going to be those things that will to help, like tell you to, give up. So yeah, I just say keep going. Just keep going. If you believe, there's nothing that you can't achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for
Thank you for
coming on the show.
having us.
Yeah,
No, thank you for
absolutely.
having me. I'm
Yeah.
standing in the gap for me and my husband.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have him on one day too if he wants. We'll do it. It'll be fun because I want to continue to tell your story because I think it's important that we capture it, and it's important for the audience to see and witness God working in the way that he is for you guys. So I love it.
Amen. Yes,
Absolutely.
amen. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me. It's just so cool. Like today I had you and then, the DOC had me on a call with them with their culinary program, like instructors. It's just super cool. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for what you do. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can see it's going to be great things for you guys. Everyone in the audience, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening in. If you like what you hear on the show, or you have entrepreneurs that are getting into the business, obviously share the show, like it, comment. More importantly, support the entrepreneurs that are on the show. Gigi, let's talk about where they can find you. Where can they find you online, and where can they find your trailers? Where can they find you on social media?
So they can, right now, we're getting our website redone. So I won't say that one yet because it's under reconstruction. Our social media handles, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. You just search Gigi's with an S, Betchin Chickn. So Betchin, no E. And then you can find us Facebook and Instagram. That will also tell you what our schedules are, what our rotation, what's going on, what's the haps with Gigi's, and then also our Google business page. If you search up Gigi's Betchin Chickn Silverthorne, that will also pull up with all of our reviews and updates and stuff on there as well. So that's how you can find us for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everyone in the audience. Thank you for the comments, the questions you guys are sending in always. And again, just to reference, every episode now has show notes. Everyone requested that. Every episode also has timestamp notes throughout the episode. We are doing that for you guys. Technology helps a lot. And so that's all out there for everyone. That way you guys can re-listen to an episode and jump to the parts that you want. Do notes and anything else. I understand that as I had no idea what I was doing when I did this podcast. I just knew I needed to do it, but it's become a huge educational platform for entrepreneurs. That's become the main audience. Farmers, hospitality, beverage, things like that, alcohol, all of it's in there. Grocery stores, I hear people starting stuff in entrepreneur ventures, wine, whatever, that are benefiting from the show. So that's how we're focusing. It's going to be more educational as we, not in the episodes itself, but as we extrapolate information out of them for you guys, so it can complement what's going on social media, which if you start to follow, also complement the curriculum that we'll offer at the summits, which will also complement the speaker that we'll have at different networking events around the United States, and then eventually going internationally. I think our first choice is going to be Australia. I think we have a partner there that we may actually do an international summit, and that's the plan in 2025. 2026. So spring of 2026, we go international. So that's fun, and I appreciate all the support, and I love you guys, and I appreciate all the support and everything, and everyone supporting me during my ups and downs. And please support the entrepreneurs. These are good messages, and they matter, and they spread hope, and they build businesses, and they build the right businesses. So thank you guys, and we're out.